Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Aquatic Oasis. My name is Ross, and today we're going to be starting a new video type for our channel, and that is us visiting some of the prominent reefers and businesses. What we're going to be doing is basically visiting these locations and learning knowledge by, well, having conversations about reef tanks that are successful and doing super well, and learning from those that have the wisdom to share it with us. So today we're actually visiting a pretty good a friend of mine. Marty is one of the more prominent, experienced reefers in our area here in southeastern Idaho. He has been in the hobby probably longer than anyone that I know, and that's going to be a positive in his case because he has tons of knowledge and absolutely knows how to grow coral, how to color them up, and be successful, not just for a couple years, but for a good length of time. And so before that, though, I did want to let everyone know that we are doing sales over at the Facebook page, Aquatic Oasis. We're, at the moment, putting up frag packs, and they're what you see is what you get, so just one frag pack at a time. At the moment, I have a bundle of 5 Acropora, some pretty high-end ones. So please have a look at that. All you have to do is comment sold if you like the pack and you would like to have it. And the price is listed for the pack. And I'll just private message you afterward, and we'll get shipping and everything figured out at that point so that you can get those coral. With that said, though, let's go ahead and have a look at Marty's tank and see what he has to teach us.
All right, this is Ross with Aquatic Oasis, and we are over at Marty Bakker's house in Idaho Falls. He's one of our OG, really experienced reefers that just about knows everything when it comes to coral and keeping fish alive. So since the day that I got into this, everyone always referred me to him. I've only been over here twice, but
it's your third time now.
It's my third time now.
Yeah.
And you can see, so tell me a little about your tank, like size and lights and just everything you want to share with anyone who might want to put together a saltwater tank.
All right, sounds great. This is an 8-foot acrylic tank. It's a 300-gallon, and I've probably been running this for close to 18 years now.
Wow.
And I've had saltwater fish and a few corals in smaller tanks before I put this one in. And as time goes on, corals change. They get real big. You got to break them out and try new things because there's a lot of cool stuff. But I grow mostly SPS, but I do have some nice LPS, some chalices, nice Ghani. There's some sea fans and borgs and things like that.
And I'm noticing you have a lot of big fish.
Yeah, there's some old residents in here. I don't know if you can get a picture of the female percula in here. She's actually 22 years in captivity now. That's the male.
So when I was saying like you've been in this for a long time, you really have been in it for a long time.
A long time, yeah.
So.
Oh, she's right back behind him.
Okay, yeah, but
she's popping out.
There, we can see them both there.
Yeah, there she is. So she's a wild perk.
Oh, okay.
I had her with the anemone. It's a big heteractis anemone, and it's same age, 22 years in captivity.
And you have a couple tangs in here too.
I've got an Achilles tang, a powder blue. There's a yellow, common yellow. There's a sailfin. There's a scopus that's pretty cool. It kind of hangs around in the center of the tank. You need to get a look at this chalice in the center here. This is my favorite, of course. It's hard to beat the colors on that one.
And it's got some really nice colors.
Yeah, it's got all kinds of cool colors.
We were talking about that Ghani. Was that a wild Ghani, or is that something that's been aquacultured for a long time?
That was originally a wild piece, and then I got rid of it over the years, and then I got some back when Ty Bird was getting out of the hobby, so he claimed that he had some of my old stuff and got it back. And
he was able to hook you back up with it, huh?
Yeah.
So what's cool about your tank is a lot of it is a lot of the older coral that, you know, at one point would have been considered really high-end. Still high-end, but been around for a while. And
yeah, old school Oregon Tort, of course.
Yeah, the Oregon Tort.
You know, that's old,
and that was
stuff.
The upscales, you said.
Yeah, that's the old original upscales from way back in the day.
Which is not something everyone has. And then, of course, this blue stylo that's just growing like a rock star in here.
Bluish purple one. There's rainbow stylo sitting behind it.
The Tyree.
Yep, old school Tyree.
Yep, I see him right there, looking good. That was always an interesting one because you almost have to tick it off to see the rainbow colors to get those pulps to withdraw. But
yeah, you don't want to bleach it though, man. If you hit it hard, it'll. And the dragons will always grow well.
Yeah, I've shown these a couple times, and you just always have to look at them. Now, tell me about this. There's a piece that's
down
kind
in
of
there.
a hybrid in there.
See the grafting? That's from the needle in the haystack. It's grafting with the red dragon.
And it's this green branch back in there, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of hard.
And it's starting to swirl, and it's taking on colors from both corals.
And that is super cool to see them growing together and merging. Yeah,
that'll be fun.
So, if someone were to set up a large tank like this, and they wanted to mimic what you have done, and they don't have 18 years to get here like you, what would you say would be like your number one tip from your experience on how to do something like this?
My tip is probably everybody's tip is be patient. You know, I'm old school with a lot of rock. I have a lot of live rock. And it's all stacked and stuff. I don't have the islands that a lot of people do. It creates a little more water flow and movement. But I do still generate a lot of flow from old school sea swirls and MP40s. So
now in the camera, I'm showing your Disney, and it's just bright gold yellow.
That's what it really looks like, though.
Yeah, and that it's kind of unique. Not everyone's Disney looks like that.
Yeah, and then the snow cone tenuous
growing into it.
Yeah, so I'm just hoping to frag that. I mean to graft that.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can get something cool. That's an old reef raft piece.
Are you gonna? You have to come up with a cool name for it.
We'll see. We'll see what they do.
The Walt Snow Cone.
The Walt Snow Cone, yeah. Walt Snow Cone.
And I guess it's just kind of a fun little last question. If you had to point out your favorite coral out of the whole thing, and someone was putting a gun to your head, what would you say is your favorite that you enjoy the most?
Oh my gosh, that's a tough question.
Maybe the one that every day you come down and it's the first coral you look at.
There's so many nice pieces.
There is. Let me.
I have to admit, I just love this chalice. It
is super unique. If you look at like the jelly bean or the triple threat or any of the other rainbows, they don't look anything like this. It's unique. Like I own the triple threat, and Jason Fox, and it nothing like that. It's just different. So really cool.
Yeah, but I don't know. A lot of just the old school corals too. You
know,
the old pavonas and the maze brains and the old school favias and stuff like that I've had for a long time. They
just look awesome. Like, not a lot of stress about making sure you have all the new corals and stuff. Just you've mastered what you have and letting it grow.
You just kind of enjoy what you've got. You can chase that new coral thing your whole life, and you'll just never catch up with it because there's always something new coming out. Oftentimes the new stuff, it doesn't turn out near as nice as what it was originally, and then you're going to go, oh, that's just a nice tenuous, but it's not a $500 tenuous.
Well, and I was saying to you that a lot of the really expensive corals now, they're only showing those colors because they're stressed and you're throwing a ton of par at them. And like Disney's one that people seem to struggle getting color out of. And you don't have those struggles with a lot of the OG pieces. Like Pink Lemonade looks like Pink Lemonade. Yeah. If it's healthy, it looks great. If you have, Raspberry Limeade or any of these other ones, they just look good. Or Strawberry Shortcake is a really good example. Probably one of my favorites, even surpassing a lot of the really expensive pieces.
Another thing I wanted to mention was my inspiration to do a reef tank is literally from scuba diving for 35 years probably now.
And how was that?
So I was so fascinated with what I saw under the water in the ocean, in Mexico and Hawaii and a lot of different places. My favorite, of course, was the Red Sea.
Well, you went to the Red Sea.
Yeah, the Red Sea.
Now, do you do that for business, or you just get out and have some fun?
No, I went over to Israel to meet we did a trip to go meet some friends over there where I buy diamonds from.
Yeah.
My brokers, and then so he took us on a tour of Israel, him and his wife and stuff. But anyway, diving is so fascinating because corals, literally, oftentimes we place things and we go, there's a cool coral, there's a cool coral, and we start placing them. But in nature, it's not quite like that. I mean, you'll get a nice green acro, but then you'll get another little bit more of the same variety growing up, and then you'll have kind of a chalice mixed in down low. Then you'll have different favias.
You have your sea whips over here just spewing out at the side.
Yeah, and then then you'll see sea whips. You know.
Would you say that that's something that you appreciate in your reef, is the fact that it looks more natural? It doesn't look organized as far as...
Right. It's kind of like controlled chaos.
Yeah.
Really. So like I mentioned before, like polyps. Here's some rostas, but you got polyps growing. There's a little bit of stylo growing up there. There's some monopora growing next to it. Some
the poker star.
Little poker star there. There's a little sympodium. You know, just different corals, but that's kind of what nature is. You don't just see one big one, another big one. I mean, it's just a variety of all these beautiful corals that you see. And the Red Sea was really amazing because you'd see the NPS corals there, all the non-photosynthetic corals.
Is there a lot of them in the Red Sea?
Oh yeah, just zillions of them.
Really?
They're so stinking colorful. So you'd come across a big sea mound, but then you'd see acropora, you'd see NPS corals, you'd see pulsing xenia in there, the Red Sea pom-pom variety. I mean, just everything mixed up. A few polyps, you know, and then a lot of different sponges, and you know, that's really kind of what a reef looks like.
Yeah.
And then, but with the fish though, I've got fish from all over, you know.
Yeah, the just mixed variety.
Yeah,
from all
it's
the
just
oceans.
a mixed variety. Just trying to see if you.
I was gonna say no purple tang in here, which comes out of the Red Sea, right?
No, I had one for about 15 years. I lost him.
Oh darn
That
it!
was a sad loss, but I replaced him with an Achilles. It's about 3.5 years
So
now.
he's the new one, huh?
He's the new guy.
I always have sad stories about Achilles for people because I lived in the Philippines for a couple of years, and we would go to the fish market, and in the mornings they would have Achilles that are a foot long or bigger,
and for sale.
To eat for $1.50.
Yep.
You know, and I mean, you're paying pesos there, but $1.50 equivalent. And
it's $400,
$500 for
a fish. I know.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
all of the Maxima clams, the giant Maxima clams.
Yeah.
Like, you have some cool, looks like past critters from your tank.
Oh yeah, that was an old jiggis I had years ago. It just got so stinking big. I had no place to put it. So
we would see those in the market, and they would be
and they get massive.
50 cents or something to eat them.
Yeah, they eat all that stuff.
Yeah, and this one here, you were
conchs.
Conchs are always popular.
Conch actually tastes good.
I've heard that actually. I had a buddy down in Mexico said
Whelks taste pretty good too. You know.
and this piece here you were showing me, and this is really nice looking.
That's an old Pasillipora variocosa. It's super heavy. I'd let you hold it before. Yeah, it's just
it was heavy. It was like literally a solid rock.
So I've got some I've saved, and it's growing back in the tank, so it's going to grow out big again.
And these came out of your tank.
Yeah, some of these corals just get big over the years, and you got to
over 20 years, I suppose, right?
Or 8, yeah,
just under.
Well, this tank, yeah, and then of course you've got this stuff here, the
rainbow loom.
Rainbow loom. I got some back there in the frag tank.
It grows like a champ.
You can see it where it's flattened off out of the frag tank.
And it's an interesting acro. It's one that I understand how it gets its name because my tank works in waves where every half a year things look phenomenal and I start throwing really good colors. And I actually get really nice rainbow colors coming out of that. But then the other 6 months of the year, it's kind of this green coral with that yellowy peachy branch tip, you know. So it's kind of an inconsistent coral for me, but I really like it.
It's a neat coral.
Yeah, and it grows really well.
Yeah, it does. There's a lot of it growing back in here, and there's just a lot of interesting corals back in here. Some tricolors, Pasillipora, some different acros, you know, next to the loom.
Do you find yourself having to break that Capricornus back?
All the time.
Yeah, it grows fast.
Yeah, it's just.
And you can tell that you've been breaking it because of its growth pattern. It's just, and it looks cool actually because it reminds me almost like a handful of Lay's potato chips pulled out.
This chalice I love. That's an old wild piece from way back. That was just a nub that I got, but it's just filled that whole area up. It's just a gorgeous chalice.
And you're calling this one like an orange eye?
Yeah, just kind of a golden eye chalice. There's a few different varieties of those, but it's nice. I break it off once in a while because grows into other corals, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does, and it's, you know, it's being shaded, but
got
it's
into that Hawkins echinata a little bit, and so I've had to.
You notice it burning corals at all, or?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The Hawkins used to be a lot bigger, and it had to cut a bunch of it off and pull that chalice out.
So lights, you're running.
I've got 4 radions. The 2 end lights are 3s, Gen 3s, and the 2 centers are Gen 4s.
And you've noticed a difference between them?
Yeah. I actually get better color under the 3s, I'll be honest with you.
You do, and that's I've noticed that too. That's what your Disney is under.
Yep.
And your Disney is bright gold.
Yeah, same with the frag tank.
There's a picture of it right there.
It's
just
got those little
yellow
blue tips on it and stuff. Yeah, it's just.
What was that one that's next to it?
The green one there?
No, the one there to the left. Yeah.
Oh, the little guy down there. That's Pinky the bear.
Pinky the bear.
Pinky the bear, and off to the. This is a tort up here. Old mother of pearl tort.
That's right. Yeah.
Old Tyree tort, and then back there's a strawberry lemonade. Strawberry lemonade acro there.
Well, it's definitely impressive, Marty. I know you know it's impressive, but
I think that's what they call it.
Yeah.
There's too many names in here, and I've got corals in here that I'm housing for some people that have had to get out of the hobby for one reason or another. So it's been nice to be able to at least have space and keep their stuff alive and going when they get back into the hobby. So,
well, thank you a ton for sharing that with us. Was there anything you wanted to share before we abandon you in your home by yourself with your coral?
No, it's just I spend more time looking at the fish and the coral than the television when it's on. So
I know, yeah. And with quarantine right now, this is probably the best like therapeutic treatment you can have in your home. Yeah. Just sit back and relax.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I've got my mask on, so.
Yes.
So I had a blast over at Marty's, and I hope you did too. I definitely learned a lot. I enjoy being over there and just having the ability to hold a conversation with someone who appreciates coral the way I do. I really appreciate the opportunity to meet with someone who I can hold a conversation with about coral and reefing and fish and, you know, the way they do it and how they do it differently from me. And that's just something that's interesting, and that's how you learn. So I hope this is something that people really appreciate seeing. We're going to do a lot more. I would like to meet with other reefers in my area that I find to be successful, and as well as businesses, because that's going to be an entirely different world than how a hobbyist does it, and that is equally important. And to be honest, if you're growing a lot of coral in a reef shop or a pet store, you're going to have your little 2 cents to add to the conversation as well, and it's going to be gold. So that's something to look forward to. At this time, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and hit the like button if you appreciated this video and you liked the content. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our channel. And after doing so, go ahead and hit that little bell icon. That'll allow you to have notifications of whenever we post new content, new videos, so that you don't miss anything, and gives you the opportunity to continue to support our channel and learn as we learn. So thank you so much, and as always, happy reefing from Aquatic Oasis.